Okay, I'm going to demonstrate room scripting here. It's not too different from mob scripting. It does have some small variations and differences, but if you've done one, it's very easy to jump into the other or if you're familiar with one. Anyways, rooms have triggers just like mobs do. They get called for a variety of reasons, whether it's from user input or because of maybe the room's just loaded or what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and make a script here for an area outside of the throne room that's going to deny the player entrance unless they have a particular quest. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see the kind of triggers that are available in the repo, let's see, in the scripting section, we can go down here and look at room scripting. And okay, so here are some of the events. On enter, if a player enters a room. On exit, a player exits the room. On command, any kind of command was entered. Let's see. Oh, and of course this is kind of weird on command, which I'll actually use that to demonstrate next. Okay, so let's go ahead and say, so on command would normally be like what command they entered, the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. And then you can look at the command and say, did they type this, then do that, etc. But let's say you only want a function that handles one specific command instead of having to do like a big, if, else if, or switch or something like that. We can just go ahead and say on command north. So what that means is since all commands are single words, if the single word they typed was north, then it will just call this function and this function only, and then pass whatever came after that in here. It'll also supply a user object and a room object. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and check if they have a quest. If they don't have a quest called to start, then we're going to do something. We're going to prevent them from doing it. Set up some stuff here. Okay, so we're going to say we're going to send them a message. But this is not the one we want to go. The one we want to say. We're going to say, let's see, the guards block your path. Actually, you know what? So I don't have to escape all of my double quotes. I'll put this in a single quote string. The guards block your path. You must be invited to enter the throne room. They say we cannot let you pass. Okay, this is very generic, but that's fine. Okay, great. And then maybe we'll also send a message to the room. I don't want to get too well, okay. I'll go ahead and do it this way. Oops. I'll talk about this ANSI tag in a minute here. Here's what Copilot just tries to enter the throne room, but the guard's about to, hey, that's great. That's what we'll send him then. Okay, so these ANSI tags, these are just ways, anything inside of these tags is going to be either foreground or background colored with the 256 color support. And notice this, I can actually say I want to make this blue, right? In fact, let's go up here and make the text itself yellow. Foreground is yellow. We'll make the actual text, they say yellow because most of the time when people talk, it's yellow in this mud. Okay, but in this case, you'll notice it's username. That's not a color. What gives? Well, there's actually a really cool ANSI alias file, and what that lets you do is, if I wanted to add an alias like, whenever I want a flower, anything inside of a tag that says foreground is flower, I'll say flower, and I'll make it green text, or I'll make it whatever color number 124 is, something like that. And what's cool about that is if you use flower all over the mud as a foreground or a background, then you only have to come to one place to update it across the entire mud, which is why we have so many of these, sort of defined things. Like usernames are always in bright yellow. Mobs are always in cyan, but maybe for this mud, I want all mob names to be red. I'll go ahead and change to red or whatever it might be. So that's kind of a nice feature that lets you go ahead and update. But anyway, I'm getting off into the weeds here. That's not important. Don't need to save that. I'm just explaining why there's this username foreground. I could even make it the background if I want. Background equals username. But anyways, those are what the aliases are. Okay, so they're going to say that stuff, and then I'm going to return true. What returning true does, it says, basically, I have handled this. Don't do anything else with this command. So normally when you type north, it'll actually go north if there's a north exit. In this case, I'm intercepting it, and I'm saying by returning true, I handled it. Don't pass it down the chain and do whatever else. Maybe other scripts want to try and process it, or maybe it'll just go north because that's the default behavior. Well, this will prevent that. If I return false, it just basically ignores this and continues down the chain to whatever other processing would normally occur. Okay, so we got that. Now let's, I'll explain one other thing. So maybe I want to keep track of some piece of information in this room script that I want to persist at least until the room is unloaded from memory, which could take a long time. So I'll go ahead and say I just want to keep track of how many times a user has tried to enter but been rejected. So I'll say rejected users. I'll just create a little object. Oh, okay, yeah, if they're not, so let's see if there's nothing there yet. I'm going to make it, initialize it to 0. And I'm going to go ahead and increment it. Okay. And maybe we'll do something with that information. Let's see, what can we do? They say we can't let you pass. And then we'll also have them, let's see, we'll just say, for the sake of demonstrating, you have attempted this. And we're going to make that into a string so we can concatenate it. Times. Okay, and we're going to make that number bright. What should we make it? Actually, I'll demonstrate background. We're going to make the background, the foreground, we're going to just say white background. What would be a good color? Blue. And we'll include the word times in that. Okay, so we've set this up, and this all looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and just run the server and test it out. Okay. All right, so try and go north. Oh, the guards block your path. You must be invited to enter the throne room, they say. We cannot let you pass. You have attempted this 1 time, and notice the background is blue and the foreground is white. I'll go south, come back. I'll try going north again. Oh, they rejected me again. You've attempted this 2 times. 3, 4, you can just keep trying. So this is tracking for my user. If another user comes along, then they'll have their own. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and add another session here. Oh, you know what? Let me move my window up just a little bit now. Okay, so now I'm a different user. We're both online, as you can see. Where am I? Soldiers Barracks. All right, let's get out of here. We're gonna go up. Okay, there I'm in the room with Chuckles, so if I go north from here, I should be rejected. And it says I've tried it 1 time. What does it say to Chuckles? He sees Ragnar enters from the south. Also, Ragnar's guide, don't worry about that. Ragnar tries to enter the throne room, but the guards block the way. Okay, so we can see how it told the rest of the room that I made the attempt with Ragnar. I'll keep trying. And notice it keeps saying Ragnar tries to enter the throne room, but the guards block the way. I'll try with Chuckles. Chuckles tries to enter the throne room, but okay. So you get the idea. We don't have to get too deep in the weeds here. So let's see. Let's go back to this. Okay. So you can get really complicated with this. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Like I said, There are other things you can do with rooms, and in fact, obviously I have some rudimentary documentation here. There are all sorts of room object things that you can do. So as I mentioned, like this room object that gets passed in, or maybe you want to get all of the exits. I can say room, what is the function for exits? I forget. Okay, get exits. Get exits. And I can iterate through these and do something with that information, including getting the room IDs of those exits. And if I have a room ID, let's say of 34, I can then say other room is get room ID. So I can get the information for room ID 34 or send messages to it, or send the player to it, or whatever. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. But that's all defined in here. So these are, and this is going to grow. These are just being added as I have a use for them. But mobs also, the mob object has its own set of methods that you can call on it, as does the user. The user has all sorts of stuff that it can do. And then there's also some, just sort of global functions that are utility based, like getting what the round number is, which is sometimes useful for, simple timing type of things, without having to actually, keep track of seconds or whatever. Just, nice round counters is usually pretty useful. Okay, so that's about it. You can look at documents or whatever, and make any recommendations for anything you'd like to see added. Thanks a lot.